Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. This video today has the potential of being quite long because I have a lot to say, so apologies if it gets out of hand. What I'm going to start doing at the start of videos, I think now, is sort of saying how I'm feeling, because MS is an invisible condition, it's an invisible disease, so on the outside, although I look completely fine, I often have various little symptoms going on or different kind of sensations, and so I think to sort of build a picture of what MS is actually like, I'm just going to start by saying, and maybe other people can relate to how I'm feeling. This past sort of couple of weeks I have struggled quite a bit with fatigue, and fatigue is a really common symptom with MS. And before I experienced it, I just kind of thought, fatigue, so you're just saying you just feel a bit tired, like get on with it. And MS fatigue is chronic fatigue, and I have honestly never felt anything like it. It is a sensation, like I feel it. It's not just feeling absolutely exhausted, it is, for me, it just feels like a massive heavy like wet towel is over me, or a big cloak of just pure and utter exhaustion, to the point where I could cry, I'm so exhausted. I found it really hard to concentrate recently on things. I find it hard to get out of bed sometimes. And the thing with fatigue is it's a vicious cycle. I mean, you feel utterly drained, so you don't want to do anything, but actually not doing anything makes it worse. So exercise is really good for fatigue, and I've been neglecting the gym recently. So I think that might be a reason why I'm feeling a bit more exhausted all the time. It could be a change in season. But I find on days where I have days off and I don't do anything, I feel so tired. So I really take it upon myself to make sure I'm doing something, especially something active every day, and try and move my body. But that being said, that's the symptom that have been dealing with at the moment. So this video is going to be all about kind of gaining control of an MS diagnosis. I'm going to share how I sort of gained some control back and gained some power over my diagnosis. It felt like at the start when I got diagnosed, and in that same appointment, you know, my life completely changed. And I also was told, you have to choose medication that you're going to be on for the rest of your life, and you're going to have to choose it now, and it's going to be really serious medication. And it was just a complete mental explosion, too much to think about. And I was worried that I was going to have to spend the whole of my life like on tablets, or I had to spend the whole of my life revolved around medication, and that's really not what it's like. And I'm going to do another video on how I medically manage my multiple sclerosis, and what disease modifying therapy I am on. There is no cure to multiple sclerosis, but there are steps that you can take to give you time between relapses and attack, which is what my disease modifying therapy has given me so far. But anyway, there is a saying that knowledge is power. So after I got told I was going to be on medication for the rest of my life, I just thought, no, I am not going to be on medication for the rest of my life. There has to be another way. But yeah, I just started educating myself on MS. I had no idea what it even was. And I just thought there has to be another way other than taking pharmaceutical drugs to manage it. And that's where I discovered this whole other way of managing, and this whole other lifestyle, and some amazing books which really reassured me and made me feel really so much better. So I'm going to share these books with you, and there's quite a lot of them. I went a bit crazy. I ordered loads because I just wanted to know everything. So I'm going to start from the beginning There are two sections of books I'm going to split this up into. One is specifically multiple sclerosis, and the other one is kind of mind, how to cope with things mentally. Because it's not only the physical illness that you have to cope with in multiple sclerosis, it's the mental impacts that it has on you. So yeah, I'm gonna start with the first book I came across. So the first book I came across is this one. Sorry, shiny. And it's called Managing Multiple Sclerosis Naturally by Judy Graham. I will link all of the books below so you can get them. This book was the first book I got. The name lured me in, Managing Multiple Sclerosis Naturally. I'm such an annoying person, and I'm one of these people where I don't like to take paracetamol if I have a headache. I like to be as natural as I can. So this book was just, it called out to me. And what's really interesting about this book is it was first published in 1989. And the lady, Judy Graham, was about 60 when she wrote this, and she said that she was still walking but with sticks, and I just thought that was amazing. Back in 1989, there wasn't as many treatments available as there are for me, as there are for people getting diagnosed in this day and age. So for her to be still walking with sticks at 60 in the 1980s was completely amazing, and I thought if she can do it, I can do it. It starts off with explaining what MS is, and then it just goes into nutrition, and nutrition is really, really important in managing MS. When I got diagnosed, my neurologist said to eat Mediterranean diet and lots of fish. I don't eat meat anyway, I didn't eat meat before, so that was really easy for me. But she just has a whole section on nutrition, food sensitivities, because if you have an intolerance to food, that could trigger something, like an attack or something, because when you have an intolerance to food, your body fights it with an inflammatory response, and as it's an inflammatory disease, and inflammation is bad, we don't want excess inflammation going around in our body. What she also has is a big list of all of the supplements that she takes. So she takes things like evening primrose oil, zinc, flaxseed oil. Like, honestly, it's a whole long list. And it sort of explains how each supplement can benefit you. Then it goes on to talking about exercise. It talks about complementary therapies like Reiki, is that how you say it? Like Reiki, meditation, physiotherapy. And then it talks about living a healthy life and really healing your body. So this book was honestly amazing and completely eye-opening and so reassuring for me that through diet, which is what I believe personally anyway, that a holistic sort of way of treating yourself is the best. It just goes through everything and was just really reassuring and gave me sort of power, like, yes, I can treat this myself as well as medically. So that was the first one. The next one I found was probably one that I should have got first, but I didn't come across it until later. And this is this one, which is Overcoming Multiple Sclerosis, evidence-based, which was really important for me to really back up the research with evidence. The evidence-based 7-step recovery program, and this is by Professor George Jelinek. That is definitely not how you say it. Jelinek. Anyway, this is a big mama of a book, and I'm not gonna sit here and say that I've read every page. However, I do follow the overcoming multiple sclerosis sort of lifestyle, so this was really, really good. Let's have a little flick through. The most important thing about this book is that it's evidence-based. So that's really obviously good. You don't want to really be going into any crazy lifestyle changes if it's not backed up with evidence. So I've crossed over some pages, obviously, when I read it for the first time, and I'm on step 4, meditate and use the mind-body connection. Meditation is something, I've got a few other books coming up on meditation. Meditation is something that I want to get a lot better at. I started being quite good at it, but it takes practice and it takes commitment, but it is something that I really want to help myself mentally with meditation. Okay, so it starts off the same as the other book, saying what MS is, like genetics, types, causes, diagnosis, and then it goes, and then it outlines the study that they did. So they did the Stop MS study and the holism study. Holism, don't know. What the overcoming multiple sclerosis sort of lifestyle says, take the medication that you're offered. It's a serious condition. You can't just disregard your diagnosis and think, oh, I'll be fine, because it's a condition that unfortunately gets worse through time. So you have to proactively act as soon as or as close as you can to getting diagnosed, to getting yourself on some sort of preventative medication. But the quicker that you get on like a disease modifying therapy or some sort of preventative medication, the better your outlook is in the long run. Then it goes on to part 2, the recovery program. And step 1 is eat well. So diet, again, is really important. Step 2, get enough sun and vitamin D. Vitamin D has such an integral role in MS and sort of developing MS. There are so many studies about it, and I live in England. I mean, it's November now, it gets dark around 4:30 and the sun comes up around like 7, so there's not enough sunlight, and you need to make sure that you're getting enough vitamin D. I personally take a supplement for that. I'm going to do another video, I think, on all the supplements that I take, because I take each one for a specific reason, and some have worked for me and some I haven't noticed any difference. So I think it could be quite interesting for other people to see what ones I would personally recommend, so you don't go around wasting money like I did on all these supplements that I don't feel any different taking. 3, exercise. Step 4, meditate and use the mind-body connection. Step 5, take medication if needed. Step 6, prevent family members from getting MS. Step 7, change your life for life. Oh, I've turned a corner here on a really interesting thing, and that is the patient's influence on illness. And that is something that I really do believe, and I believe in the mind-body connection. I believe that if you're feeling crap and you're feeling down, you are going to feel worse, and it's going to make everything feel worse. This is something that I physically saw when I was in hospital, especially in the second hospital I went to, where, in my opinion, a lot of people had just given up and they had given in to their symptoms, and they've given in to how they were feeling. And I know obviously it's really difficult sometimes to keep going and keep being positive, and I'm not saying that I'm positive every single day about things. I mean, I said at the start of the video, I'm battling with fatigue at the moment, and some days I definitely give in to fatigue and I definitely let it win, and I definitely have days where I feel crap, and those days I honestly feel worse. And I do believe that your mind has so much power over your body, and if you're thinking negatively, I just think negative things are more likely to happen. I went a little bit preachy there, I think, but it's just something that I really believe. When I was in hospital, I did the utmost that I possibly could to stay positive, to keep pushing, And I don't think that I would have recovered as well as I did if I had just sort of given up, or if I had just got ridiculously down about things and didn't push myself to keep going. I'm going off topic. What have I done here? Oh, and then I've turned the page on all the ones to do with being mindful and mindfulness, and that's something that I really need to practice. But yeah, this book, I haven't read all of it page to page like the other book, but I couldn't recommend these two books enough. This one is slightly smaller, this one is slightly bigger. But these are my two multiple sclerosis books. I'd recommend them if you're feeling like, my life is over, my life is never going to be the same, I'm going to be on medication for the rest of my life. Help. Get these books and you will feel a lot better, I promise you. The next books are books to try and retrain your brain and to try and think more positively. I'm going to start with this one, The Art of Happiness. It's a Dalai Lama book with Howard C. Cutler, and it's a good book. It's basically sort of shows you how you can think about things, but then also you can think about them in a completely different way. So, for example, I have multiple sclerosis. I feel completely awful about it some days, and I can feel really sad about that, or I can think about it in a completely different way and be like, I have multiple sclerosis, but it's still not going to stop me from doing anything that I want to do, and I'm going to try and turn it into a positive in my life. Yeah, it's all about training your mind. Training your mind to be happy, to be positive. There is a really good chapter in here about dealing with grief, and that's a chapter that did really help me because I personally went through a grieving process after my diagnosis. I was going through mourning. I was grieving my old life because my life had changed, and I felt deep grief, and it really helped me. And I'd recommend this one. Next one is a bit of a more kind of hippie kind of vibe about it book, and this is You Can Heal Your Life by Louise Hay. Basically this book is all about diseases and why we get them, and it believes that diseases are caused by our thoughts. So it's a bit kind of hippy dippy, but again it's kind of the same message about mind-body connection. I mean, it's got a whole thing of diseases and why they're caused. So I'm just gonna, it's got a section on multiple sclerosis, so I'm just gonna flick to that. Just had to change my memory card, so if I've jumped or anything's changed, that's why. Okay, back to this. Multiple sclerosis, the probable cause or triggers for attacks or anything is due to these kind of thought patterns, and that's mental hardness, hard-heartedness, iron will, inflexibility, fear. And it says the treatment for it and the new thought pattern and kind of positive affirmations that you should go over in your head is, by choosing loving, joyous thoughts, I create a loving, joyous world. I am safe and free. And I just think that's really nice. This book basically retrains the way that you think and your thought patterns. So it starts off, for example, just flicked to chapter 11, work. I can't stand this job, hate my boss, don't earn enough money, they don't appreciate me at work, can't get along with people at work, I don't know what I want to do. And it's sort of like these thought patterns and negativity in life just bring you down, don't they? And it basically is like, stop thinking that in your head, think, I'm deeply fulfilled by all that I do, and bless your work position with love and bless your life with love, and stop thinking in these negative thought patterns because they're not going to get you anywhere. And this is a lovely, lovely book, and it does just think that all physical illnesses can be made better and all diseases can be made better with positive thought patterns. And I think that that's really important when dealing with multiple sclerosis, because you can go into a really, really deep, dark place, and you have to keep yourself up out of that dark place, because MS is already bad enough. You don't want to go into a really deep, dark hole in your head. So I'd recommend this one too. Then is this one, which is Mindfulness, a practical guide to finding peace in a frantic world. And that's by Mark Williams and Danny Penman. I got this book in hospital and started working through everything when I was in hospital, and it comes with guided meditations, and it's just a good book. And it's really interesting, and I'd recommend that. And my camera battery is now flashing. Last book is, I came out in hideous spots when I came off the steroids and my body cleared it out. So I got this book, Feed Your Face. It's written by a dermatologist, and if you suffer with really bad steroid acne, I would get this book. Again, it just sort of says about diet and cleaning your face and all of this stuff, so I'd recommend that too. Really quickly, I would also recommend a Instagram. It's Staying Healthy with MS. The woman who runs this Instagram page either lives in Australia or New Zealand and just has the most incredible, relaxing vibe about her Instagram. She eats beautiful food, she meditates, she has a blog post too. She was actually the first kind of gateway into all of these books and all of these educational sort of resources for me. When I got diagnosed, I just started searching for social media, people who had MS. I wanted to see what MS looked like. I wanted to see what their lives are like. Is this actually as horrific as it is? Are they living still really good lives? Which also prompted me to start this channel, because although I found her Instagram and I found a couple of other Instagrams, I was lacking seeing someone physically live their life and talking openly about the condition, so that's why I started this. Sorry that I'm talking at a million miles per hour, but my camera battery is going to die in a minute. What else? Also, if you want some reassurance if you've just newly got diagnosed, check out either the MS Trust or the MS Society website and look at the research. There is so much research going on at the moment, and that reassures me, because there will hopefully soon be a cure for MS. 20 years ago, there was no treatments available for MS, and I got given a choice of 3 really, really good treatments. So just look at all the research, and that really does reassure me. Whew. Thank you so much for watching this video. Sorry I kind of rushed it at the end, but I really can't be bothered to charge my camera battery and then set everything up again and then finish the video, so here we go. But yeah, thank you for watching this video, and let me know if any of you have read any of these books, or if you've read any books that you would recommend. I will leave all the books down below. Also, I have set up and sort of use an Instagram. It's Izzy MS, so follow that if you want to see more of my day-to-day life. But yeah, thank you for watching this video. It's me again. I was just importing the footage and I realised that I forgot to mention 2 apps that I was going to mention in the video. They are both meditation apps, which I found really useful at the start when I was just getting into meditation. The first one is called Headspace, and you can get a free sort of trial to that, or free 7-day guided meditations to really introduce you into mindfulness, and I'd really recommend it. The guy who does the audio has a really soothing voice. The next one is really similar, and it's called Calm, and what's really great about this app is you can put on meditations for 8 hours. So I have mine on a lake, so you can just listen to relaxing lake music for like 8 hours, and I did it at night at the start where I had just recently been diagnosed and I was having nightmares and I couldn't sleep and wasn't really handling things very well, and that helped me drift off to sleep and relax my head. And also having these apps was really handy at night when I couldn't sleep and felt like I was going a bit insane, because you can just guide and calm down your brain and go through a guided meditation and just relax yourself. So I'd really recommend those 2 apps.